Hello, this is more for syntax. I'm sorry I cannot make it today. Okay, let's start then with Unit 4 in your manuals, which is syntax. And what we need to know is the definition of syntax first. Syntax is the branch of linguistics that deals with the combination of words to form phrases and sentences. We're not going to call them phrases. We're going to call them syntactic categories, though. So from now on, whenever I want to mean phrase, then I will say syntactic category. Now, we need to look at the difference between a phrase and a sentence. Who can tell me the difference? You? Okay. Yes, a sentence is a complete idea, a full thought, while a phrase, a syntactic category, is a missing part of it. It starts, for example, I could give you the house, or I could say that house, that big house, but I'm not saying anything about the house. So that is considered a phrase. I could also say in the house or under the house, and it's still considered a syntactic category, not a full sentence. Normally people say that a sentence has a subject and a predicate, which is true. So a subject and a verb, normally, yes. Phrases, on the other hand, syntactic categories, are either just the verbs or just the subject, like that. Okay? So, definition of syntax then, branch of linguistics that deals with word combination, yes, to form meaningful phrases and sentences. Okay. Now, regarding syntactic categories, regarding phrases, we have three types of phrases. If you take a look at your manual, it says phrases and sentences, and then it says number 1, syntactic categories. This would be page 40 in the PDF version. And we have what is called the noun phrase. Why is it called a noun phrase? Because a noun is involved. You know, we have determiners, we have adjectives and nouns. But in a noun phrase, the most important word is the noun. Read your manual. The examples in your manual says, people like to have money. Yes. This is a full sentence. Yes. I am tired. It's getting late. Yes. These are full sentences. And the first word, people, is a noun. I and it are pronouns which have the same function of a noun. So you have our friends have bought a house in the village. So there is a determiner there. Our. Yes. Remember we consider possessive pronouns as determiners. Or those houses. Yes. Those would be a demonstrative, but we call it determiner. Those houses are very expensive. Yes. Or we can insert an adjective in between and say our closest friends. In that phrase, our closest friends, the most important word is friends, and therefore we call it a noun phrase. Okay? Then it talks about numbers, quantifiers, etc., etc. But still, we have the same formula, let's say. Either a determiner or a quantifier plus an adjective, which is optional, and a noun. The most important word for a noun phrase, the noun. Then, and you can keep reading in your manual, there are many examples. Then we have what is called the verb phrase. Verb phrases normally start with a verb. So we have the example, can see, would have been, may have been planning, as it says in your manual. Notice that we have auxiliary, 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 and then the main verb. but it's always a verb. Now, we have an exception though, and be careful with this exception. There are sentences, like full sentences, that are called imperative sentences. These sentences look like verb phrases, which is the second category in the syntactic categories, noun phrase, verb phrase, but they are full sentences. How do we distinguish them? Well, when they give you a command, that's an imperative sentence. Do your homework, get me the hammer please, enable them to do the task. Notice that they are commands, and they all of them start with a verb, although they are not verb phrases. They are not a syntactic category, they are full sentences. Why? What is the subject of these three sentences? Do your homework, get me the hammer please, enable them to do the task. Is the pronoun you. We cannot see the pronoun you, but we can infer that it's you, singular you, or plural you, but it's always you. So, characteristic of imperative sentences is that the subject is always you, and we never see the subject. It's a non-overt subject, or a N-U-L-L subject. Well, that's it concerning verb phrases. Another thing that we need to take into account when dealing with imperative sentences is that they are always in present simple. They are never in the past, they are never in the future, or in the conditional forms or subjunctive. They are always in present. So two things. You is the subject and is non-overt, and they are in present simple. So do it. That would be an imperative sentence, not a verb phrase. The last type of syntactic category that we will study is called the prepositional phrase. Notice that there are other syntactic categories like adverbial phrases, etc., but we won't cover those. We will cover just three types of syntactic categories. The prepositional phrases start with a preposition. So the examples from the manual would be on the corner, to Glasgow, in a few days, by Van Gogh, etc., etc. All of these phrases start with a preposition. Then we have a practice exercise. Remember, we need to, after each presentation, there is always an exercise. So the exercise says, practice exercises, task number 1. Classify the following phrases according to their syntactic categories. So, we're going to stop for a minute, and then you can stop the video, do the exercises, and then we'll check it. See you soon.